Hello everyone, ERez Avramov here, founder of Life Rebuilder Academy. And I want to congratulate you for being here and watching the first video series in which I will cover the Life Rebuilder journey. Now, I've put this in a visual way so you can see where you're at on this journey and what are the steps and stages we usually take when we start. Now, the entry point to the journey is different for each and every one of us. You may be in a very specific situation right now where the devastating event in your life may have happened a little bit further down the road and you have passed the surviving stage, or you may be just there, it just happened and you're looking to gain control and to find what it is the next thing you should do. So as you can see here, I've put it in a pyramid structure where the base of the pyramid is where it's an emergency. Something just happened that changed life forever. In a fraction of a second, everything changed. Now we're in a surviving mode. This surviving mode is where life is completely out of control and all we have to do is it's self-preservation, basically. This is where we just have to keep it together, be that on a physical level, an emotional level. We have to recover, we have to be in a place where we can actually move to the next step, where actual work can be done. Initially, it's all about self-preservation. This is probably the hardest step of every devastating event, and it is as difficult and painful if it is physical or if it is emotional. Now, I can share with you my journey. My first big devastating event with a near-death experience happened in a car accident. I was broken into 1,000 pieces. It was a head-on collision with a fully loaded semi-truck. And I was left totally broken, fought for my life, was under induced coma for 8 days. And it wasn't even known if I will make it or not. That place of emergency and surviving is a length of time that is different for each and every one of us. Now, when we begin from that place, we are in a situation where everything is dark. There is a lot of fear, there is a lot of disbelief of how this has happened to me, why this has happened to me. There's a lot of suffering, physical and emotional. And as I said, this is probably the toughest part of the journey. Now, we all have to go through this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here watching this video. So you're probably just over that survival mode. Now, when we move from the survival mode to the next one, which is struggling, now we have regained some stability in our health or in our emotional condition. It's not a total chaos and we don't know what to do anymore and it's all dark. We're in this place where life can actually start to be a little bit more manageable. Now, in this stage, where I call it struggling, we are still in a chaotic situation because everything has changed. We don't really know what to do. There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of frustration. We try everything at this stage, right? We try every modality that we are recommended or we heard of, be that an alternative healing modality or an emotional therapy modality. We're open for all of it and we try and we give it our best. And what happens is we go through a cycle. It's what I call the yo-yo cycle. We hear about something and we think, okay, this is the thing that will help me. We go out, we try it, we give it our best, and it's not necessarily the thing that actually resolves our problem. It gives us something, but not the whole solution. And then we jump from that to another area and we try that as well. Maybe we move to a different therapist, maybe we move to a different doctor, maybe we try a certain alternative modality. There are different ways of how we try to approach it. And I will cover in the next videos more details about what they are, what they look like, and maybe there will be something that will resonate with you that you would like to try and see what it is. But this stage of the pyramid, the struggling stage, we try different things, but there's always something missing. There is something that we're after. And what we are after is our own inner healing. And it is very, very difficult to be in that stage. This is the stage where you feel alone. This is the stage where you see who your real friends are, because the reality is when we are confronted with a devastating event, a blast radius event, as I call it, where really everything has shattered, life has changed. A lot of people don't know how to deal with it, right? Some people that you consider your friends all of a sudden disappear. Some family members will be, shut down. They won't be able to even talk with you. And you will withdraw inward at this stage, and you will feel alone. And I want you to know that this is part of the journey. There's nothing wrong with you here. This is a situation where we all are confronted with, and we have to go through this, because this is a stage of relative isolation. This is a stage where you start to really understand what has just happened. You're not figuring it out. You're not resolving it at this stage of the pyramid. You are now acquiring new knowledge. You now are building up a stronger base, what I call expand your toolbox. You will now start to gain knowledge and information and techniques and ideas to allow you to start and rebuild your life in a structured way. Now, when we do it in a random way, which most of us do, and I have done it myself, after the car accident, I really didn't know what I was supposed to do. One doctor said this thing, then another alternative modality said this thing. Then I read something on the internet that said, oh, try this, or they contradict each other. There's a lot of confusion and we don't really know what to do. But when I will share with you the Life Rebuilder roadmap, I will share with you how to deal with each and every area separately so you are not overwhelmed. The biggest mistake I find is when we try to resolve the whole situation in one go, or we think that if we do this one thing, it will resolve everything. That is not the case. This is a journey, right? And this is why when you follow a roadmap, it's not that you start from point A and you reach to point B immediately. This is not the case. It is an entire journey to follow. And as difficult as your situation may be, I can tell you that this is an incredible journey if you choose to look at it this way. You will recover. You have the strength in you to overcome this. My job here, as your instructor and your guide on this journey, if you allow me to, is to keep you on track, is to provide you with a framework that you can work within and rebuild your life to something that is suitable for you. What has worked for me is not necessarily what will work for you. And in these video trainings, I will not try and tell you what to do or be very precise about different things. I will provide you an entire gamut of options where you will have to try and see what works for you. Because I have learned during my journey, which on that journey, I have went through 3 near-death experiences. The first one was the car accident that I described earlier. And the second one was another accident that happened actually during one of my races when I trained for the Dakar rally. And it was a motorcycle accident during a race that almost ended my life. And that was another near-death experience, and I will share those in depth later on. And the third one happened not that long ago. At the age of 45, I had experienced a full-on heart attack. Now, you would think that over a decade, where I have rebuilt my life again and again and learned many things and recovered well and changed my lifestyle and changed my nutrition and figured things out in a way that they worked for me, and I found better inner peace within me. I found a higher connection. And then something like this happened. Now, because I went through this several times, I was able to recover, regain control over my life, and bounce back much quicker than anticipated. Because when you have all these elements in place, now there is a plan. Now there is more confidence in what it is you do. That is not to say that you will resolve your situation in one go, right? I want to be clear on that. There is no quick solution here. This is a journey. It is painful, it is frustrating, it is filled with anxiety sometimes, unknown. All of those elements are there to push us, because then we have to stand up, we have to show up, we have to do the work in order to heal, in order to get to the next step. So all of these things are in place. Now, I'll go through the process here just to show you the structure. So we started with the emergency, the surviving level. We moved to the struggling phase, chaotic, where things are just out of control, but it's up and down, right? You try something, it works a little bit, you see some progress, but then in other areas there's no progress. It's just very, very frustrating. Now, from that step, when we move to the next one, this is where I call it the managing stage. You're back on track. You have tried so many things. You did your work, right? You did what you were supposed to do, because many times what I find is we get great advice, we get great programs, we get great doctors, great teachers, and they share with us a certain thing we are supposed to do. And because we are in this dark place, because we are filled with confusion and lack of security, and we think something is missing, we think maybe we're not good enough, we question all the time why this has happened to us. And to be honest, there is no answer to this. The why, if you get entangled and go down this rabbit hole to figure out why this has happened to you, the only thing I can tell you is that you are headed the wrong way. Because it's not about the why, it's about the what, and it is about the where you're headed. This is a beautiful opportunity, as painful as it can be, and trust me, I've been in the most painful situations that affected not just myself, they affected my wife, they affected my children, they affected my family. This is not something you go on just for yourself. This has rippling effects throughout everybody that you know, that love you and that are around you. And they go through their own process as well to try and deal with this, help you and support you, and still remain in a strong place for themselves so they can be present and helpful. So this is a mega journey. This is something beyond anything you can imagine, and there is something beautiful in it. And I know for some of you this may be difficult to hear, but when you go through these stages, you gain more and more clarity. When you get to the stage of you're back on track, you feel things are clicking together. Let's say you got your stress better under control. Now you have certain elements, you have certain rituals, you have certain exercises that you do in order to reduce stress and manage it. And it works for you. You've tried different things. We have to try them, because what works for me doesn't necessarily is going to work for you. What worked for someone else that you heard of, or you read a book, or you saw someone on TV or YouTube may work for them, but not necessarily for you. So your journey is to find what it is for you specifically. Now, at the managing stage, this is where you start to see things working. Let's say again, the stress management area of your life is better under control. Your sleep. This is huge. I know that for most of you that are seeing this video right now, whatever event happened to you, and as I said, be that a physical, emotional, financial, relationship related, it doesn't matter. One of the first things that get totally out of control is our sleep. We just lose it. And over time, not sleeping is something that will create a ripple effect like no other. In my recovery from these 3 different near-death experiences, I have noticed again and again that I couldn't sleep. After my first car accident, I couldn't sleep for 3 months. And it just got me out of my mind. I felt like I'm going insane. You cannot sleep. You think too much. You're in your head too much. You're in pain. You're uncomfortable. Sleep patterns have completely shifted. This creates a chaotic life, and everything else now is consumed by this lack of sleep because it's gone and you cannot recharge yourself. The body cannot heal when it doesn't sleep. So sleep management is a huge part, and I will address this in this video training, because this is an area you have to get back on control, because it's not going to happen overnight, but there's a process. There's a certain process that you can follow that will just get those parameters back into balance and allow you to regain your sleep. So once again, in this stage of managing, there is more command, there is more precision on what it is you know that works for you, what it is you know you need to do, and now it's up to you when you implement them, when, the consistency, and this is where you show up. This is where accountability comes into place. This is where you are now responsible because you have found things that have worked for you, be that through stress management, be that through your sleep management, be that through nutrition, how you treat your physical body. All of those things we'll cover in future videos, but this is the stage where you're actually now, you're back into yourself. You are on your feet again. You feel that, okay, I see progress. I see where this is going, and there is hope again. There is this inner knowing that this is the right path. I'm past the struggling phase. I'm past the surviving stage. I know that this is headed the right direction. Now, this is where a lot of fine-tuning will take place. This is where a lot of different modalities you will start to experiment with, and you will really start to hone your skills around those. And there's a large variety of them from all areas of your life. Because when we, let's say, address stress, then we talk about meditation, we talk about breathing, we talk about journaling, we talk about how you create a space that can allow you to heal. When we talk about sleep, there's a whole process of how you prepare yourself for sleep, the sleep period, what will help you through that, and you will fine-tune those things in this stage to allow you to really regain control and find what it is that works for you. Now, when you go over this stage, you move into a thriving stage. This is a beautiful, beautiful place to be in. And if you are there already, I want to congratulate you, because this is where you regain control over your life. You understand the bigger picture of life and where you fit in within it. You have probably found a stronger inner connection to yourself, to the world. You have found what it is that works for you. You have made major changes in your life because, you know, the devastating event that happened, that blast radius event, is here to provide you an opening. It's like a door that just opened a little bit, and it is your choice if you want to open it wider and wider, and it will lead you in a different direction. It could lead you to do a career change. It can lead you to change your relationships. It can lead you to move to somewhere that you wanted always to go to. This is very profound, and in this stage where you feel that you have mastered the life rebuilder process, you now are confident, you have trust in yourself, you believe in yourself, you know there's an inner knowing of what it is that works for you, and now you're resilient. Doesn't matter what happens, you will be able to deal with this. And I speak from personal experience, because as I said, I had to rebuild my life 3 times from total devastation. And each and every time, because I had this toolbox of practices, approaches, mindsets, perceptions, I was able to take all of them together and put them in a way that works for me, and after time, it just becomes easier and easier. Not to say that recovering from a heart attack was easy. Far from that. My first 2.5 months were a nightmare, a total nightmare. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, my life was totally out of control. This whole process, I started straight into the emergency and surviving mode and went through the whole pyramid like we all do, because it is part of the journey, right? Now, as you can see, there are some keys to success on the right side of the pyramid, and there are the emotions we go through. And there's also a measurable control over life events. And these all change from one stage to the other, right? So I just tried to put this in a visual form for you so you can see the Life Rebuilder journey, what it is all about, and you can identify where you are. You may watch this video and you are in an emergency situation. Know that you are there and these are the steps that will follow. You may be in a struggling phase. You may have found this video because you're struggling, something is missing. Life is so chaotic still, right? It's this yo-yo effect. You tried one thing, it worked, then you tried another and it didn't. You jump from one thing to the next. You can't find any fluidity in your life. There's no rhythm. Everything is just all over the map. Or you may be already in the managing stage, right? You have found things that work for you. You are back on track. You feel there is more command. You feel there's more precision in what you do. But there's still this edge that is missing in order to move into the thriving stage, into the mastery stage, where it's a lasting effect throughout your life. And that is where you fine-tune everything and you can move to the next step. Now, in the next videos, I will share with you the Life Rebuilder roadmap. This is where I dive deeper into each and every stage of the roadmap and share with you ideas, concepts, modalities, things that may resonate with you, and I'll encourage you to try them. I will also provide you with some resources and a lot of really good information that has helped me. And again, the reason why I do these videos and why I share this with you is because I believe in you. I believe you can find your way out of this. Don't get discouraged. Don't get to the point where you think there is no way out, because there is. And just understand, this is a process that all of us who are on the Life Rebuilder journey, all of us who have experienced a blast radius event, a devastation has happened, there is a structured process that we go through. You're not alone on this, and you can figure this thing out, and I will do my best to help you, and I will see you on the next video.